Well, YouTube Nation, the Penguins did it again. Uh, we had the October East Islip show, and again, I struck it. Let's roll the credits. So, I've already emptied out the penguin bag for the next swap meet. Uh, so I'm going to go somewhat in order of pretty good purchases to really um, awesome acquisitions. Well, all my acquisitions are pretty awesome, don't you think? So, from Mike, who sold me the well cars and the loads, I got from him a Road Champs 187 scale truck featuring the Boar's Head brand and a pair of box cars. One is ribbed, the other one is not. The Southern Pacific is ribbed, whereas the Union Pacific is not. But they both have KD couplers, and they were both in excellent shape. So for these items, I got them for $25, which isn't too bad. Um, so uh, so we have those. Moving right along, from AJ, who I got the P42, the was it? Yeah, the AMD 103 P42 and the Amtrak work engine, Alco C424, and the gondolas. I got a well, I got a RFMP boxcar, pretty awesome, and I also got from him another Fratelli Alco FA1 in the Sioux Line livery. It's in pretty awesome shape. Of course, I am going to see if it needs any servicing underneath. But I got both the locomotive and the boxcar for $20. Pretty awesome stuff. So now, moving on to the stuff that I got from Jerry. And I'm going to go from least to most awesome. I got from him a, oh, was it open? Oh, well, no, well, one, two, three, well, one is missing, but 3 fully assembled number 5 KDs. I also got an AHM covered hopper and the ACF Centerflow. I have 2 others, so this is a nice, that would make a nice throuple. And I couldn't pass this up. It was a Sioux Line caboose. No, Dave, you can't have it. It's mine. So that was pretty good. Now, moving right along, Uh, don't get thrown off that this says Athearn Genesis, because it's not an Athearn Genesis. It was just a box. And in this box, we have a Concord SD35 in Pennsylvania livery. This will make a nice companion to the Penn Central SD35 that I got from Hector, I believe it was, from Big Boy Trains, and it ran very good. Of course, I am going to service it because Lord knows when it ran last and how well it was kept. It appears that it has the Roco tooling, and the paperwork is in there, so that's pretty awesome stuff. And it ran well on the test track at East Islip. Now, what was really inside this box, and the SD35 just, there was enough room for both locomotives to travel. We have ourselves an Athearn SD70M in the New York Susquehanna and Western, I think it was, livery, otherwise known as the Suzy Q. Now, it ran on the test track, which means it must still be under DC power. I am going to have to crack her open to see what's going on underneath. But what was also in this box, yes, I know the rear handrails and stanchions are missing. It's because they are loosey-goosey in the box. But what was also in this box were these LED lights. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure what the previous owner had in mind. Was he going to install ditch lights? I don't know, because because it looks like there are ditch lights already here, but again, I don't know what's going on until I crack her open. But also, what was inside this box? A Soundtrax Tsunami digital sound decoder. Now, you know me, I'm not DCC, but the fact that this thing, it was inside this box, and it is specially made for SD70Ms, it left me rather intrigued. So it probably still is running under DC, but we'll see. And the last thing that I got from Jerry was this beast. It's a Wisconsin Central F45, and it was sitting in the box. There was this speaker sitting in the box. I don't know why it was there. There was a little Phillips and slotted screwdriver. Couple of pieces of foam. Also, there was the engineer's. Don't break it, Ian. Engineer's cab side window. Because it was loosey-goosey. Now, there is considerable heft to this locomotive. And it's not an Athearn. This is an Overland Models brass locomotive. Overland Models by Ajin, Ajin of North Korea, not North Korea, South Korea. If it was made in North Korea, Kim Jong-un would not allow this to have it in my possession. But yeah, if you look very closely, you'll see the OMI, and you also see the Ajin. And I am going to change cameras. Hold on a second. So, here it is on the test track. Now, what you're going to see is sorry about my fingers. What you're going to witness is the same thing that I witnessed on the test track. The test track at East Islip is wired wrong. They had, if you put their throttle to reverse, the locomotive runs forward. If you put the throttle in forward, the locomotive runs backward. That is what it does that with all the locomotives. They just wired it wrong. So I have my power pack on, and it is in the reverse direction. Watch. Now, I'm going to put it in the forward direction on this power pack. So, this is what I've got on my hands. I am going to have to put it onto the DCCEX mainline to find out what's going on. Of course, I am going to put that cab window back on. And I'm also going to see if this directional issue is the same for DCC. Because if it is, I'm going to have to root around and find out why it's doing that. I don't know. Did the folks at OMI and Ajin wire this wrong, or is it just because it's running on DC and not DCC? We'll see. All right, so I have this big girl. um, on the DCC-EX mainline. I have it set to programming mode. I entered in CV8, which identifies the decoder manufacturer, and it told me it was an ESU. And when I put in CV7, it gave me a value of 59, which means, and I looked that up, and it means that it's using Loc Sound V 3.5. So whatever that means, because I'm just the type of guy who got a locomotive for a good bargain, and I'm not one who needs a locomotive with the bells and whistles. But the fact that, and I forgot to mention again, that this locomotive, sorry about that, this locomotive, the SD70M and the SD35 and the two freight cars, I mean, not freight cars, the freight car, the ACF covered hopper and the caboose, the grand total was $100. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. So, I am going to set the DCC-EX mainline to main. I am going to now switch on the main line. This did this on its own. Now, when I read the how it was programmed, it gave a value of 52, and that is because the locomotive number is 6652. So we'll keep it like that for now. I'm going to require number 52. Switch on the lights. No lights. Curious. How about a bell? No bell. Horn? No horn. Curious. Let's see what happens when we give it some accelerate it. Yeah, it must be wired backwards. And it just conked out. Hold on a moment. Well, that explains it. Now it won't run. It's wired wrong. Because I didn't see the light, because It's wired wrong. The rear lights are on. I'm going to put this in reverse. Switch the light on. And we still have no light. And it still goes in reverse. Alright, so by some sort of power of magic, it righted itself. I got stuck in. This is weird. Alright guys, hold on a moment. Alright, it was getting caught on the felt. So I removed it and it's running fine. So now I have it forward. Can I get a bell? Can I get a horn? Let's see. It's possible the bell and the horn have not been programmed, but the light works. I have it on speed step 48, 64, Alright, let's stop her. Or it stopped itself. Methinks I have to clean these tracks. Oh. Okay, so to recap, here is on the DC main line, otherwise known as the Endurance main line, the Ferteschi Alco FA1 that I got from AJ with the Sioux Line livery. Cleaned her up, added some fresh lubrication, and runs pretty nice and forward, and again in reverse. Totally perfect. Moving on to the Concord SD35 that I picked up from Jerry. for, I would say, well, if I got the two rolling stock items for $5 each, so this I got from Jerry for $30. Now, when I cracked the shell open, the tooling was almost similar to the Atlas SD Penn Central SD35 I picked up from Hector Marrero at the Riverhead show much earlier this year. But it said it was assembled in Mexico, so I don't know who really built this. Especially since the PCB inside, which is right over here underneath the shell, it was ingenious, and just lubricated it, and I did give it a light in reverse, and I'll show that to you very shortly. But this thing purrs like a kitten. Now, hold on one second. So now, here we are in reverse. Gorgeous. Now then, moving on to the Athearn Suzy Q SD70. When I placed this gorgeous beast onto the DCC EX mainline, she buzzed, which means she's not wired for DCC. She's full on DC. That Soundtracks decoder that was in the same box as her, that is going to be saved for a future project. I'm going to hold on to that decoder chip. In any event, the one bone of contention I have against these later day Athearns, it's these railings and stanchions. If you so much as, they're plastic, cheap plastic, not really durable. If you so much as look at the railings and stanchions the wrong way, if you don't give it the corner piece of cake, it's going to dislodge. The railings and stanchions put up a little bit of a fight along the engineer's side. The conductor side wasn't so bad. The front, that was a fight. I don't recall where I put the rear stanchions, but I'm not going to bother, because something is up with those holes, and I'm not gonna bother with it. But in any event, she runs perfect. And here we are in reverse. Nice, very nice for a $30 locomotive. Full transparency. I did discover a bit of an issue with the rear axles, so I sorted them out, and the thing, and it runs pretty good. So we have that. So now, saving the best for last, coming from a DC guy. As you notice, it is on the DCC-EX main line. One of the two, actually. Now, when it was on the DCC-EX main line, I couldn't get the bell or the horn to work. And I just resorted to going into the DCC programming mode and did a factory reset of the decoder by just giving configuration value 8, the value of 8. If you set CV8 to 8, it resets the decoder. One thing I did learn the hard way is that when you reset a decoder, you have to cut the DCC power and then turn it back on. And I was digging around YouTube videos about resetting a decoder, and the fellow at Soundtracks, the fellow at Soundtracks who does a lot of the videos for its channel, he removed the locomotive from the track. So that's what I did. And I, restored power to the DCC-EX main line. She switched back on. But the bell and the horn were transposed. That is to say, if function 0 is the light, lights off, lights on, F1 being the bell, F2 being the horn, F1 and F2 were transposed. So instead of getting the bell, I got the horn, and then instead of the horn, I got the bell. So I dug around again, and there was a bulletin board where someone had ESU Lokesound V3.5 with the same dilemma. Someone was intelligent enough, had the smarts to say that you had to change certain configuration values. I'll make that notation in the video as far as what configuration values you had to change. And now that it was corrected, I'm going to press the bell. And now, stupid me. Let me show you. And the horn. So that's perfectly fine with me. My one bone of contention about the new Overland models that are manufactured by Agent, I cannot find any paperwork on HO Seeker. And when I did an internet search about the schematics for the Overland models Agent F-45s, I read that there are that Overland models does not include schematics for the locomotives. Why? Tell me why. Because if something happens and you gotta root around, how do you know where to get, where do you go? But I'm gonna count my blessings, and I'm going to go speed step 4 and look at that crawl. Speed step 8. Speed step 12. Speed step 16. Speed step 20. And I'm gonna stop her. Now, I'm going to put her in reverse. Lights on. Speed step 4. Speed step 8. Speed step 12. Speed step 16. 20. 24. Stop. Well, these locomotives seem to be pulling very nicely. Going to have to keep an eye on that combine. It likes to derail, even though I did replace the wheel sets with 36s. But these IHC passenger cars are anything but cooperative. Um, I'll either keep them or sell them off with their, after I put the original wheel sets back on the trucks, because they don't work like River Rossies. And I've hardly ever had any trouble with River Rossies. But these are very excellent pullers. And yes, I do know that I could add more cars to this consist for the Suzy Q, but they are, I mean, it's a very good puller. I mean, the Athearn Genesis, I mean, I love Athearns. I mean, call me biased, but I've never come across an Athearn I never liked. So, the Frateschi is also pulling very nicely. Nice little consist over here. And it looks like that IHC passenger car is also pulling pretty nice. So, I'm going to let the Suzy Q have a few more go arounds until I put the Wisconsin Central F45 on. Yeah, this is good. This is beautiful. Well, I am a very happy camper. This sexy beast really can pull. I mean, again, I know I could probably add more trains to the, add more cars to the consist because it probably is very capable of it. I'm not 100% certain as to the other functions besides the bell, the horn, and the light. I am not eager to see what the other functions do. Again, I'm not a I'm a DC guy. I'm not DCC. But the fact that I got this DCC locomotive for an absolute bargain, and it is a wish list item because I have been pining for a Wisconsin Central locomotive, because the Wisconsin Central was consolidated into Canadian National Railroad, and yeah, hindsight is 2020. I could have put a Canadian National caboose right in the very end, but you know what? Let it run as is. And full transparency, it is on speed step 40. So, with that being said, I'd like to thank my subscribers for their continued support. If you are not a subscriber, there is a link in the bottom right-hand corner for you to. Please help me reach and surpass the 350 subscriber milestone. Please like and share this video. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.